Our second team to advance into Apex Season 2 will be decided right here and right now. This best of 5 will determine everything. The studio has filled up quite a bit since we started earlier tonight, and there's a ton of fans of the meta. I was watching the cheers there when everyone was going in doing their Genji stars, the Lucio's, headphones and things of that nature. With the meta, fan favorites tonight by far.
Yeah, I mean, definitely they have the crowd here backing them. MVP, of course, a long-standing Korean organization, so they will have innate fans from, maybe not just from Overwatch, but from other games such as Heroes of the Storm, League of Legends, etc., etc. So there are going to be those MVP fans, but again, it's also a Wednesday night in Korea. A lot of kids have night school, so they don't get to come out to the studio. But on the weekends, that's when it really starts popping off, so we'll see how things are on Friday. But yeah, the meta fans definitely did make their way out here, and I just want to say, he did not flip you off on his entry. He's just doing this. This is just it's just a thing that Koreans do.
I'm going to take your money.
Yeah, that's exactly what he's trying to say right now.
Yeah.
But no, so this is going to be potentially, and I know I'm going to maybe kick myself later for saying this, a closer match than our first one. I know I said that was going to be a close set between Runaway and a Freaker Red, but both of these teams do look very strong. MVP Infinity, we saw them just yesterday. They came up with a win. Meta, we saw 2 days ago. It was a little bit rougher from them. They had some strong showings on the start. Their Nepal versus Rhinos Gaming Titan was absolutely a stomp. But then it got a little bit rough at the end. Rhinos kind of, taking them back and forth in that set. So I think that this is going to go beyond a 3-0.
I think so too. The meta had more hype behind them than any team in this that we hadn't seen before, perhaps besides LW Red. But we know it wasn't the LW Purple roster that you like to reference, that one incredible, I keep saying incredible, Intel Extreme Masters at Gyeonggi. So there's a lot of hype behind this team. They have, on this Wednesday evening, kind of filled in the studio with mostly meta fans. And they have an incredible win rate in Challenger. But I feel like what we've seen from Infinity is the most coordinated six-man in this tournament so far when it comes to working as a group. Yes, I would say I think their coordination is better than what we just saw from Runaway. Maybe Runaway has a better mechanical skill individually. When it comes to the six-man, that's what I'm looking at Infinity. Meta, on the other hand, they are 21-2 since Season 1 of Challenger, 63-15 in maps, an incredible record. And their performances in these tournaments is really where they got their fans, as they have not played in Apex. They are a Challenger team, and they are a strong one coming into this. Saya player with some great soldier play, a lot of headshots coming in, and J2 as well, a pretty solid tank we saw playing the Diva. So also ran Reinhardt quite a bit, but I think Saya player is the one to look out for on this team.
I mean, for sure, and that's why he's going to have a highlight reel actually coming into this one. So beautiful setup coming through. The Maywall to boost the McCree up on top of the ramparts so he could get on top and above that Reinhardt shield. Light up the Deadeye, finds a triple kill. Beautiful coordination from the meta, but they're going to have to try to best the coordination of MVP Infinity. You mentioned it. We saw these guys yesterday. They were completely on point when playing against Mighty AOD, always on the same page. So we're going to find out which team has more cohesion, I suppose, in this set. But Saya player is definitely the one that if you're on Infinity, you have to be worried about him because he showed us his McCree, he showed us his Soldier, as well as the Widowmaker.
Definitely so. I would say the big thing I'd be worried about if you're an Infinity fan here is we saw them have that 3-0 victory. We saw them trash Mighty essentially there in the end. But that's when they had this perfect coordination. They were communicating well. You could tell their ultimates were preset even before ults were ready. They kind of linked into each other. If they lose the first map, if that coordination starts to break down, their only televised appearance at OGN, they had a dominant performance. What happens when things go wrong, when the communication breaks down? Mechanically, they might not be as good as their opponents. Maybe Saya player just starts ripping through when suddenly the Reinhardt shields aren't in position. The Diva is not reacting quickly. This is what I'm worried about for this team, but I do feel their coordination, if they can keep that momentum going, is going to be better overall, and I favor them going into this best of 5.
Yeah, I mean, one thing to keep in mind for you guys who might not be familiar with the Challenger scene here for Apex, MVP 4th place in both Season 1 and Season 2, so a very consistent team in that top 5. The Meta starting off in Season 1 as a 2nd place team, or the 3rd place team rather, I believe, then jumping up to 1st place, taking the only loss away from LW Red, giving them a 10-1 record and not losing a single game themselves. So 11-0 was the Meta for Season 2 of Challengers. So on paper, a stronger team than MVP Infinity, but they really did have a strong showing yesterday and kind of exceeded my expectations for them. So I think that despite that 1st place, 4th place position that we have for both of these squads, I think it's going to be a considerably closer match.
I think it really comes down to the mechanics versus coordination of these two teams. I wouldn't say that the meta is weak in coordination. I just feel like MVP Infinity is stronger. Going to Ilios again. It's going to be a lot of Greek map coming into you guys here on our King of the Hill. Starting things off, Hoon, is he pretty happy with that?
Yeah, I mean, we saw how dominant the meta was on King of the Hill when they took down Rhinos Gaming Titan in that first map. Again on Nepal that time around. We'll see how they fare on Ilios, but we do know that these guys are quite good when it comes to those capture point style maps. So MVP Infinity, they're going to have to put up one hell of a fight if they want to take this first map away from the meta and start getting that momentum rolling in their favor.
All right, here we go, Overwatch fans. Game number 1 between the meta and MVP Infinity. This best of 5 will determine which team advances into Apex.
I get it.
Ilios, we are starting off on Lighthouse for our very first King of the Hill in this best of 5. And we'll see what comps these two teams want to run. 30 seconds to the start. Saya player already on his trademark Soldier. We'll see. Looks like Fiwin going to be doing the same.
Yeah, it looks like these are going to be pretty similar. Of course, Lucio and Anna going to be coming out for either side. We saw Flash have a really strong performance on this map, particularly just yesterday, getting a double boot kill, knocking off the opposing Anna and Tracer at the same time, right off of the point. So he's going to be very comfortable coming into this. Roadhog going to be swapped out for Zarya on the side of the meta. Otherwise, pretty much exactly the same comps coming in.
We're going to have this first skirmish. There's that shot of the Zarya versus the Roadhog. One fact, looking for picks here. Already very low. He will, in fact, be the first to die. And Saya player is left up here alone. Going to get a ton of damage done. Chasing down Why Not there. Getting the pick almost nearly on Fiwin as well. Incredible accuracy. You can see he's aiming there for the head, even in these slight mouse movements. The first point will go to the meta as a result, and this little choke point here, Saya player with this incredible accuracy is just totally controlling it. And Fiwin trying to get in here, they're going to have to come up with the Reinhardt shield to block Saya player's shots. In fact, they're going to now control this low ground. Charging forward, here comes a big charge attempt, in fact. Will immediately be countered as everyone splits away. Fiwin heals up.
Yeah, J2 going in. They're not going to go down yet. Trying to get a cap through. MVP almost gets it to about the halfway mark. Kuhn getting that nano boost from NUS. Not really going to get a whole lot done on his end, but Saya player, he's picked off Fiwin. And that's going to be Brett going down as well. So MVP losing 2. That means that the cap will remain here for meta, 37%. And Kuhn actually comes up with a double kill. Nicely done on the right click. Getting that kill on the one fact, staggering these recalls in, or these respawns in from MVP Infinity. It's just going to make it that much more difficult for them to gather themselves and try to get a nice push.
Boone just ready with this Graviton Surge as well here. Going to go ahead and step back as he pokes everyone down. Looking for the big Graviton Surge when everyone's around the corner, and he will get it. No follow-up though. Will we see the Earth Shatter coming down? Sound Barrier is popped on the side of the meta, trying to deny this damage. Saya player on the high ground here, not really anyone to stop him. Hoon gets a kill on one fact. This, ultimate's traded on both sides, 2 sound barriers. A longer battle than I expected there, but actually goes in the favor of the meta. 77% currently held, and MVP Infinity struggling to even get down this choke point.
I mean, they have basically one more push, and they have to get over to this point very quickly. There's going to be a nano boost and that tack visor up for Saya player. Oh, we can see Fiwin getting hit with those Helix rockets. almost goes down, has to drop his Z to get healed back up. And Saya, he's just been comfortable to sit on this high ground this entire time. Finally getting jumped on by the D.Va, blocked off with a right click. Fywin has attack visor of his own. He comes up with a kill, make that a double as he takes out Chris. You can see several members of MVP going low, but this is going to be a really nice turnaround from them. Half the cap almost there for MVP. Looks like they will be able to finish it at 99%. Overtime comes through. MVP finally get in there. They finally pick up the point. But they have to be careful. There's already another Graviton Surge available for Hoon, as well as that self-destruct.
Yeah, 2 ults available. Earth Shatter are going to be there in just a moment, so they'll probably actually, with all the time they have, try to go in with both. Saya player again already here on this high ground, but once more, why not on the chase? That was the key there in that last push. The only reason Infinity got that was because that we're going to see the big commit to Graviton Surge here already. Huge biotic grenade, self-destruct, doesn't pick up a kill, but Hoon doing so much damage already. J2 takes out one fact, and this may simply be a retake here. Hoon completely ignored, gets the kill on Flash along with the Saya player there. There's a charge, they have control of this point, and I don't think Infinity's going to be able to get back. There's the hold. Overtime is ticking. No one can get on the point, and that is going to be this first point taken by the meta.
Yeah, it was just going to be on Why Not to try to walk in onto the point, but when a baby D.Va is the only thing you have to try to elongate the hold in overtime, you're in a pretty rough spot. And that man on your screen right there, Saya player, coming up absolutely huge on that soldier, was able to just sit on top of the high ground for so long, just chunking out members of MVP time and time again. And they finally committed a D.Va to it. They were able to take him down, but the damage was done. They built up so much of a percentage, and then that retake coming through away from MVP. Infinity was so easy for the meta. And again, that's what I kind of expected coming into this King of the Hill. They really showed off just a couple days ago when they took down Rhino's Gaming Titan. Now moving over to this second round, it's going to be Ruins. Meta, they can close this out. That'll be a very swift first map into the bank for them.
Fywin and One Fact to be running this Winston 2 DPS dive comp with the 2-2-2, and we're going to see this duel between Saya player and Fywin, as you guys would expect to see, with 2 tracers. Looking for the pick here onto Winston, actually a good jump away, but he's on the chase, and will he get it? No, has to go away. Doesn't use the recall though. We'll get the heal up. Actually keeps the recall, which is very critical here as we switch over to One Fact's tracer. So he is going to get taken out here as Saya player goes down for the chase. Sleep dart there onto Winston. It looks to be another pick this time onto Breck. And the meta getting the better end of all these exchanges so far. Pulse bomb available here for Saya player. Looks like he wants to commit here onto Laris. Just decides to back off as they do have this point controlled, and this is a lot more one-sided than I thought it was going to be. And in fact, I really thought it was going to be, if it was one-sided, on the side of Infinity, but the meta totally in control.
Yeah, and I mean, one of the most impressive things about Saya player, outside of just his healing, as we see a pulse bomb comes through, sticks it to Why Not, still finds Laris with the explosive kill. He's going to come into the back line, still is able to get rid of that Zarya, maybe even Flash, but the arrival of Breck, he has to peel back. But one of the most impressive things about Saya, outside of his aim and his tracking, is just his positioning on this tracer, able to zip around. His mobility is so smooth. I mean, anybody that's tried to play Tracer and they haven't really mastered her, they know that sometimes she could be a little bit difficult to control, but this is one of the smoothest Tracers that I have ever seen.
It really requires a very vast understanding of the map as well, where you can actually sneak around. Fywin is going to go ahead and pop his Dragon Blade here, gets NUS, looking for the kill on the Saya player there. Not going to happen, Libero will take him down, and Saya now nearly with another pulse bomb here. He does survive. Now we're at 60%. Sleep dart here onto Hoon.
Oh boy.
Oh man, this could actually be a big boom.
There it is. Throws out the bomb, but actually everybody dies before the pulse bomb even goes off. Hoon coming up with a double with a help from J2 as they finish off NUS. So the big bang not even necessary to get what was effectively a team kill on MVP Infinity. 75% now in the bank for Meta. Looks like they might just be able to full hold this time around. MVP not having any ultimates. They're far away as well. Why Not? The closest one at 67% for the Graviton Surge.
Very critically too, Libero does have this self-destruct they can use to buy time. 10 seconds left here as Infinity tries to push. Fywin's already lost the ability to get healed, and this is a very weak Infinity with no ults to push with self-destruct here. They're going to try to go for one last ditch attempt. Flash actually going to the point alone right now as one back tries to pick off Saya player here. It's not going to happen. Self-destruct still available here. Libero gets a kill first. Here's the Graviton Surge.
Yeah, he's going to drop that self-destruct right on top of it. Finds Laris. They sweep right through him. And that is going to be map 1 going over to Meta. An absolute stomp on Ilios.
Yeah, perhaps Caster's curse on me for saying Infinity was going to be the favorites here, I should say, as this is looking insanely dominant. I guess it does still follow this storyline, though, of mechanical skill. It's Saya player on Ilios when we started off on Lighthouse. He was left alone. And the funny thing is, he had one tac visor that entire map on Lighthouse, and it was blocked and he died.
Yep.
His entire value came from his accuracy and his team backing him up to control that choke point. No one could get close. Then he goes on to Tracer, who's getting multiple kills. Boone setting him up every time, giving him bubbles, allowing him to go into the back, then also getting those Graviton Surges. We saw 2 amazing ones.
Yeah, I mean, we mentioned how good Saya player is on this Tracer, but Hoon, probably the shining star on Ruins, at least with that Zarya. Every Graviton Surge was just absolutely beautiful, catching at least 3 or 4 members of MVP Infinity, and they just get destroyed by the rest of the roster of the meta. So really good performance by him, and I mean, that's why he has been going with this Zarya, for going potentially the Roadhog pick and just been sticking to her. He's showing off a mastery on that hero that we haven't really seen from anybody else in this tournament.
Would have to agree with you there. Flash looking sheepish today, more than what we saw from him yesterday, looking very confident, very happy. As I mentioned yesterday, he's actually named himself after the StarCraft pro gamer Flash because they have the identical Korean names. He's going to finally play like his idol on stage, but today, starting things off with a loss. Ilios just super controlled here, and that's something to worry about going forward for MVP Infinity. Our next map, of course, we're going to switch into Hybrid. See one choice that Infinity's going to bring. In fact, that might be why we're having a little bit of a delay here, as they are still picking that secondary map. And Chris giving a little shout out to the camera there. Saya player's accuracy and his positioning are so incredible. I feel like sometimes he's mismanaged his ults here and there. Missing a pulse bomb, getting a pulse bomb too late. But his Soldier is scarier to me than his Tracer. Let's see what map Infinity's going to bring us onto here.
Could just have Ilios and Hollywood twice in a row. Nope, it's going to be King's Row, so no Eichenwald coming out quite yet. Could see that if we go the full 5, but for now, Meadow with control.
You know what?
They're going to be looking to close this out very quickly.
This might be a mistake, having to deal with that initial choke point on this hybrid map against Hoon. I think Hoon is going to love this. He's going to love to play Zarya here. He's going to empower Saya player. He's going to be looking for Graviton Surges on that first point. And I think he's going to be very happy with this map choice. It's one of the best places where you can use a Zarya on these hybrid maps. And there's also, of course, the same issue on Hollywood, which is why I thought we might see Eichenwald, because it's a little bit more open going forward. You don't necessarily see that Zarya every time. But they're going to go with King's Row here. I'm worried for Infinity, as that just mechanical skill here from Saya player seems to be winning out.
I'm sure Infinity is worried for Infinity as well at the moment, because they just get absolutely rolled. They just rolled over in that first map. So going to need to turn things around, turn up the heat a little bit if they want to find some success and make this more than just a stomp. Because they do have one more chance should they lose this set. They do have one more chance to make their way into Apex, but that's another best of 5 that they would have to play. No team wants to do that. They want to win right here, right now.
Here we go. Map number 2, King's Row. See if Infinity can tie it up, or if we're going to see their opponents take the 2-0 lead.
I get it.
King's Row. Infinity will be on the attack.
They need to have a really strong start here.
Yeah, and with Hoon already on the Zarya, this is what I'm worried about.
I don't think we're going to see Hoon swap off of the Zarya at any point, really. We see Meta coming in on defense. They're going to be running the exact same composition. So no change-ups coming through. This has worked for them, through their sets against Rhinos. It's worked for them on that King of the Hill. So just going to be keeping things pretty consistent with this Zarya, Diva, Reinhardt combination. It's going to be very effective for those chokes. I was wondering if maybe this would be the time that we see a Roadhog. Maybe Libero swapping off the Diva for it, because you can just hook somebody in, by bust, pull them behind the wall, and just blow them up. But looks like they're just going to keep it consistent, keep it safe, and be moving forward with this.
To be the case, we'll see if they can make it work. Infinity.
Are they really going to start with this?
Hanzo, they might actually just use one sonar grenade here, or not grenade, arrow, excuse me, then swap, and that's exactly what we're going to see. Solaris pushing back over to the Ana after trying to give some vision to his teammates. Greg going to be the one leading the charge here with the Reinhardt shield, using it very late, in fact, to try to make sure that he keeps the charge up. Very well done so far. Baiwin on the Mei this time, gets a nice headshot there onto Hoon. That's a good start here, as he doesn't have the ice wall for some isolation, but we do have another pause. And this is unfortunate.
Yeah, it looks like it might be something on the side of Saya player, so definitely needs to make sure that everything is functioning properly in order for him to be able to pump out the DPS like he's been doing. So not sure quite what the problem is, but we should get this taken care of very quickly and dive right back into this game. Things just beginning and not really in the middle of a team fight, so at least the unpause won't be very damning for one side.
Definitely so. Really only chunk we saw was that headshot onto Hoon. Besides that, it's pretty even going. I will say it's a pretty strong push so far on the side of Infinity, actually getting past that choke point. The power of the choke point for Zarya, though, really comes once she gets that Graviton Surge I was talking about earlier. So if they struggle at all, she gets that Graviton Surge. Maybe it could be a full hold. I'm really almost, I guess, predicting this too early. I'm calling this too early and start trying to really push this idea of Hoon Zarya. But after what we saw in Ilios already, that's what I'm concerned about personally. Saya player with such a great aim, and I keep talking about his mechanics, but his aim is just on point, his positioning is on point, to make sure his equipment is working correctly at full 100% here. So pause warranted, and looks like he seems to be settled down now.
Yeah, it should be okay. Well, we still have the 80s in the booth, but I think they might be giving the okay so we can get back into this game and see how it's going to unfold.
Phone calls being made, that's always not always the best sign, but usually it means that we're just confirming the pause was legal. And because obviously if you pause illegally without a reason, then you will be penalized. That's how esports works. So, well, just confirming things like that. But Saya player fans, speaking of which here, and the meta again, I said it many times, a lot of fans, Saya Jang, which means Saya's awesome.
I like that she's just using her phone while holding the sign over top of her face. She's just like unfazed by this. She's just still going to be texting and doing her thing.
Yep. Well, these things do happen in esports. This is probably the first time we've really had anything like this in this tournament. I guess it really is. As we get another shot of these fans.
Yeah, I think the two pauses that we've had were, I think the two pauses that we had today were the only ones that we've experienced so far. So overall, it's been running pretty smoothly. So hopefully this doesn't take too long, and we'll just get this cleared up and be able to continue. But Saya, it looks like he's messing around with his mouse, so it might be an issue with that. Or he's practicing. I can't really tell. He might just be so focused that that's all he's doing.
Well, it looks like, he might also be talking to his teammates to figure out exactly how they're going to continue this push after the unpause, because when you have that unpause, you need to make sure all 6 members are on the same page and remember where they were before, because you just have that big, giant Korean screen that says the game is paused, kind of blocking your view. And it's like, all right, I have this much on my ult. I want everyone to remember that we're actually going to go around this angle. I want you to go behind. Things like this. I'm about to charge in and try to get a pen. Support me. Make sure Libero is there. to drop those Ana heals or perhaps the biotic grenade if he's going to really commit that far to a charge. Talking about J2, of course. So there's a lot of things to communicate in freeze pause moments like this. And just really a rough coincidence of all players to have the pause. It's Saya player who really does need that accuracy on the DPS roll. Otherwise, he won't be as effective. And he's the one that really needs to be aiming. Looks like we're going back into the game now. Bywin again on the push here, trying to get those headsets. Hoon is pushed off. In fact, this is a strong push right now for MVP Infinity. The meta completely pushed off in an ice wall. Will zone 3 out. This could actually be a very fast take, in fact. Insanely fast. We're going to see Lucio coming here trying to deny D.Va as well from behind. Sleep darted immediately. Bywin going to commit to the freeze.
Yeah, he's going to find it. You're going to get a little bit of damage in. Brett goes down. Flash going to fall as well. You can see Saya player ripping back through as the meta want to hold firm on this point. They did give up that double checkpoint, however, but they will come up with pretty much a team kill and hold on to point 1 for a little bit longer. But MVP, if they can have another shove like that, they will take the rest of that point very swiftly.
Very solid play by Hoon. Again, gets a triple kill, already has that Graviton Surge, and this is what I was worried about. You want to really play against this player. Look at this 5-man Graviton Surge immediately right in the choke point. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Hoon picks up 3 more kills. This guy is on fire. J2 will get the kill on Brick. Killing the baby D.Va, as you like to call her, is Hoon there as well. Why not goes down a full hold. And this is why I thought this map might not be the one they want to go to, but they chose it anyways. Bywin does have a Blizzard here.
Yeah, he gets the isolation there onto Hoon, but it doesn't even matter. Has his shield up. He's full energy. You don't want to walk up to that Zarya. But there's multiple ultimates available for meta. Just going to be that Earth Shatter and the Blizzard from MVP. Granted, it's a hell of a lot of CC to lock up meta.
Okay,
they
one
can do it.
Gonna go for perhaps his own Graviton Surge here. Swings coming out, double kill in fact right now. Libero gonna get the 3rd here. This is not gonna be a push for MVP. In fact, they are struggling to really even walk out of spawn right now as Libero picks up 2. This is dominance. This is everything we said about, it's, I guess Caster Curse said this was probably not going to be a one-sided series. It very well could end up being that way. 6 ultimates available for MVP Infinity. If they can't make it work with 1.5 left with that, I don't think they ever will.
No, I have to agree with you. I think they have to full commit pretty much everything here. We see the Graviton Surge coming down, catches up multiple members of the meta. They're going to throw out that self-destruct. Multiple members of the meta completely frozen up at the end of that. Bywin trying to fire out with those icicles, get those headshots, but it's still unable to get onto this point. It's the freeze on the Libero. Headshot comes through. They might just have the cap. We'll see if there's any delay. Looks like no one from the meta is able to get there in time. Well, and that will be the take from MVP. But a very delayed one coming through. Had to use absolutely everything.
And that's key, right? I mean, they had to use 6 ults to make a push happen. That's concerning. Boone, really the MVP for the meta right now. We watched him play on the Zarya on Monday as we have another pause. We watched Hoon play this opening match on Monday. Had very great Graviton Surges. In fact, that was kind of what we were talking about, is whether or not his Graviton Surges or his opponent's Graviton Surges really what won things out on Nepal specifically, if I remember. It was really about that matchup. Hoon was more consistent overall. It looks like it might be an issue with Chris's PC this time. But either way, they did break through that first initial choke point. There's that point. There's the first corner you go around before the first checkpoint, and then there's the final checkpoint where you're going to have to go down that narrow pathway with vast respawn times for the defense. So 3 areas where that Graviton Surge is going to be so impactful. And I don't want to discount the rest of the team. It's just Hoon has been playing so well that really he's the only thing I'm thinking about right now when it comes to how the attack is going to continue for Infinity.
Yeah, I think getting around the last corner towards the second checkpoint before you enter the Foundry is going to be one of the hardest things for MVP. As they get ready to move forward, they barely were able to get that first point. Had to commit 6 ultimates, so they're going to have to try to just build up their meters and keep them on reserve and then just trying to push with 6, back off, charge up, push with 6. But that's going to be so time consuming, and you're not going to be able to finish the game with pretty much any time bank remaining. You might have to do it in overtime if that's the way that they really have to approach this game. We will be going back in, as you can see.
Notice Hoon's positioning. He often stands in front of the Reinhardt shield so he can build up his energy so that he gets the max amount of damage done. We do see a big charge in here. Saya player meeting it with damage, though, already working on that shield. Libero gets the pick onto Bywin, who switched over to Reaper. One fact gets taken out as well, and this push is neutered right at the start. Big biotic grenade to keep Diva's mech alive, but Saya player just doing so much damage. There's the fan, the hammer down onto Reinhardt, gonna help take out Breck. And this choke point is held, that little tunnel where Hoon is going to have a fun time. Nearly already with another Graviton Surge, 72% available.
Yeah, and he's been building these up so quickly. Now we can see Fywin swapping over onto that Reaper. He's at about 22% at the moment. Could go for the nano boost. Beyblade play. It might just come down to that nice wall coming through from the meta. Libero just completely cutting off multiple members of MVP, and that allows them to pick off Laris and then Breck, followed by Flash. Both healers gone. That's going to be Infinity backing off to the spawn yet again. The meta fearlessly just shoving right back up towards that first point, keeping them contained in the spawn.
The only ult used there was J2's Earth Shatter. He picked up 2 kills, didn't actually get that much charge afterwards because of how quickly he got the kills right after the ult was used, almost getting it instantly. I think the first Earth Shatter actually did secure 1 kill, so he's only at 35, but soon to be 5 more ults. Here's the Graviton Surge. Saya player from behind trying to lock in with the Deadeye. He's just out of range, unfortunately. Here comes the counter Graviton Surge, and this one, for one fact, actually works out a lot better. Saya player still gets 1 kill. Infinity picking 2, though. They actually get the better exchange in this fight. Their Graviton Surge came second. Unfortunately, Saya player wasn't able to get the Deadeye he was looking for. Bywin gonna take out Chris.
Yeah, hounds him down. Once you get into close range with that Reaper, you don't stand a chance. And it looked like it was gonna be a really good fight for the meta, but blocking off Saya player couldn't use the Deadeye. The Maywall comes through from Libero, so bit of a miscommunication there, so he couldn't line up that McCree ultimate and pick off multiple members of MVP, and instead they come out with an immense amount of profit, going to get a huge shove on this payload. Now you can see Fywin with 95% charge on the ultimate. Will be looking for an opportunity to drop in with that Death Blossom. Saya getting that nano boost, has the Deadeye used, but he won't find any kills.
Okay, Bywin does have the Death Blossom. I don't think he was noticed. Saya player gets the pick here onto Laris, which means no nano boost for the Death Blossom. Bywin really patient here, holding that in. Doesn't want to use it. Flash nearly gets picked off here. Saya player with some great accuracy.
But it's 22 seconds, 15 seconds now that I glance back at it that MVP has to deal with. They do have 3 ultimates available. Flash is almost there. Could build it up rather quickly, and Fywin is still looking for that flank, but they have to get on the payload right now. 3 seconds. We're going to go into overtime.
Okay, he's going to come in from behind. Here comes that Death Blossom. He's got the nano boost. Beyblade it is. Triple kill here. That's exactly what Bywin and MVP Infinity were looking for. This may be enough to get them that second checkpoint here. Getting so many kills, gets the wipe. And that patience I was talking about, he stayed hidden for so long. The meta had no idea where he was. Perfect execution there. This is the 6-man Infinity I was hyping up before we got into this best of 5. That coordination, that patience will secure them the checkpoint.
Yeah, it's a really good push, really good stuff by Fywin, but they still have to make it as far to the end as they possibly can with a minute remaining on the clock. Meta building up a couple ultimates. They almost have 4. And Chris is not very far behind. Graviton Surge is here for Hoon. We've seen how instrumental this has been in the past. He's going to go ahead and throw it out, finds 4. Can they find more? Big Flame Strike cutting through the members of MVP Infinity, and they take out one back. Saya showing off that accuracy yet again with the McCree. And Hoon just chasing forward. High energy on that Zarya, able to melt through targets like why not on that Diva. They get him out of the mech. They can't find the kill, however, but a firm hold from Meta, and that's going to buy them even more time.
I almost feel like Hoon's probably got more damage than Saya player until he's probably got that gold deal, as we call it in Korea. And you know what? I mean, he went into that Graviton Surge with 65 plus energy. By the time he actually was starting to do direct damage to the members inside, he had 75 plus. So he was just doing so much damage because he positions himself so greedily to get that extra energy. We're going to see a self-destruct come down here. Breck on the retreat, having to use that shield. Laris is the only dead for Infinity, trying to make this push work. There's the commitment by the meta to use the sound barrier. But they only have 2 members, and I feel like it might have actually been kind of a waste there by Chris as Infinity tries to push for this 3rd and final checkpoint.
Yeah, it was just Libero was able to finish off Why Not on the back lines, but now they have to stop this payload. It's moving up almost to the final point. 1 ult available for MVP. It's going to be that nano boost, but Fywin, he's not very far behind, 89%. If they can pick up the Death Blossom, they might be able to make this work. Huge Earth Shatter comes through. The charge goes out as well, and that's going to be Laris and Flash falling down. Nano boost is on to Fywin, but he falls immediately, not going to get any profit of that Death Blossom. Every member of MVP is going down. The mech from Why Not, the baby diva falls, the overtime ticks down, and the meta, they will hold right in front of the 3rd point.
Very, very well executed. Hoon goes in this time, 95% of his charge. No one on Infinity is calling out his position. He's up at the front, drops that down right in the middle of everybody. Nobody's saying, let's split against this. Here comes Hoon. They've got their ults. They've got Graviton Surge. Nobody splits against it. That should not have happened. This time he does it with no energy, but the CC alone from that Graviton Surge stops MVP Infinity dead in their tracks. A scary moment there when they did have that botched sound barrier coming out, but after that they get the Graviton Surge, they win that fight, and it is going to be that full hold you just mentioned. So basically in order to win it, Infinity will have to push to the end. Excuse me, Meta will have to push to the end.
They will.
That 3rd point.
Yeah, this is going to be tough. It's going to come down, I think, to that 1st point hold from MVP Infinity. If they lose this outright, I think that the meta might just be able to full shove all the way to the finish. So we'll see what they want to run. Looks like it's going to be Reinhardt with Zarya and D.Va, and then Fywin moving over to that Mei. So going to be looking to isolate targets as they come through the gate.
I think Saya player will commit to the Widow as well. Going to look for some early picks. This is one of the best maps for Widowmaker early on. When you're on the attack, you come up, try to get picks from the high ground. If you get a few kills, you kind of all in your way with this composition to an early cap. If you fail with a short run back, you just simply switch right afterwards. And you don't even have to die in order to switch. You just go right back to the base where you're actually sniping from essentially on that high ground. So we'll see how many picks he can get here. This is going to be very essential to this composition. He'll probably switch right afterwards to the Soldier. May run the McCree as well. He's shown a lot of that today already. Libero currently on that McCree, so they might just swap right afterwards. Libero running that and then switching to the Ana. It's going to be NUS this time, as they do look for the snipes. Libero up here on the high ground.
Fywin is there, trying to snipe right back at him with the icicle, so that's going to keep Saya contained a little bit already. Why not? Pushing forward, going to try to get some damage in, if not the kill onto Saya. And we'll have to see if he's going to back off and swap, or if he's still going to try to play forward with this Widowmaker. He's been getting a lot of ground yet.
He's built up quite a bit of his ult, so he might try to wait for that infrared, but not really going to be that impactful of an ult early on in this game. You see a D.Va come in here. There's the Fan the Hammer. Libero caught here and chased down. Defense Matrix there, but he does get the heals there from NUS. Saya player still unsuccessful in getting kills. His team is getting mobbed up. One Factor Breck picking up 2 kills here. There's the kill on NUS. I think it's time to switch. He's going to go for one more snipe. Doesn't even have the infrared, but I think he's just simply going to switch off because this is not working.
Yeah, this is going significantly more poorly than we saw from him just 2 days ago. Actually hasn't swapped yet, so he's still going to stick in. Has that infra sight up now, but everybody's just going to be sitting right behind Breck's Reinhardt shield. Is going to try to go get that pop up with the grapple hook. Is unable to come up with a headshot. Has a drop down as Why Not goes straight up into his face yet again. Libero has the dead eye, won't find a kill, as that's going to be a big Breck charging forward with the nano boost. Didn't even have to commit to the Earth Shatter. Comes up with a double kill. They will lose Flash as Saya finally picks somebody off with his Widow. But overall, this has been a really strong hold from Infinity.
And it's been a weak Widow. No value whatsoever. Not able to get the picks he wants. Does get one infrared off, but I think this is a switch that was a long time coming, and it might just be too late. Here comes the first Graviton Surge from Hoon, and we'll see how much they can get done with it here. J2 gets the pick on Dolaris. Counter into the Graviton Surge here. Libero goes down here. Breck going to pick up the second kill onto J2, and this is going to be another hold for MVP Infinity.
Yeah, that is going to be the team kill coming through. Really good stuff from them. Had to commit a couple ultimates on both sides, but overall I think you have to be very satisfied with that one if you are MVP. It's now about a minute and a half left that they have to hold. They have a Blizzard up from Fywin, which is going to be probably the most crucial ultimate for them holding this first point, as well as that self-destruct. So if they can freeze everybody up, drop the Diva ult right on top of them, they could find success. But Fywin, he's actually going to get caught immediately. Hoon takes him out, so doesn't even get to use the Blizzard. That is going to be a massive opening for the meta to maybe push in as they use this sound barrier.
Saya player here is, charged up with that sound barrier, but nothing else to go with it. Hoon looking to try to get in position here to do some more damage. He doesn't have Graviton Surge because of that failed push earlier. Looks like they are going to actually catch and kill Why Not, so that's going to be one start here, actually leaving the Baby Diva alive for a while. Deadeye available here, they're on the point, and Libero going to try to zone this out. He's got the Ice Wall. This will be the point taken here, but it definitely took them a lot of time. 3 minutes and 20 seconds to push this payload all the way to the end, essentially, as that is where MVP Infinity's push met its end. This is going to be a tall order. Fywin actually has this Blizzard available. This is a great opportunity. They overextend here. Will get knocked down here by the Sleep Dart. No, actually, the freeze will only hit Hoon. And with his shields, in fact, he survives it. So great opportunity there, but good reaction to get out of there by Infinity.
Yeah, that was really clutch by NUS. Actually getting that Sleep Dart onto Fywin means that he couldn't just be firing away with those right clicks, consistently getting those headshots into members of the meta. And that is going to cost them a bit on this defense. Fywin going low for that Flame Strike. Libero pushing forward, gets a headshot of his own. He takes him out, and this is going to be a big push coming through from Meta. They might be able to ride this all the way to the end.
Infinity didn't regroup. They got greedy. They really wanted to hold it super aggressively. They were trying to buy time to try to really delay the strong push that was coming in. They lost so many picks. Their spawns were kind of fragmented there. So now they're finally all back together. Hoon did use his Graviton Surge earlier. We didn't really talk about it too much, but it was another value Graviton Surge, which is why this push is going to just be a free second checkpoint. But they do have Deadeye, and they do have this Graviton Surge on their opponent's side coming down already.
Yeah, there's an Earth Shatter available, comes out from the side of J2, already building up his meter pretty quickly. Saya playing from the back, trying to get a kill onto Fywin, who's powered by that Nano Boost. Will finally find the headshot, but multiple members of the meta go down. That's going to be 4, I believe, in total. Make that 5. Nicely done. One fact, lobbing that bomb in, finds the McCree and takes them out. And MVP, they will hold, and the checkpoint didn't come through. They were just a couple meters short, but now the rollback's happening.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure who NUS actually nano boosted in that last fight. We didn't really get to see much of a shot of it. Might have been Libero, but either way, that was a wasted ult there. They didn't get the push they wanted. They did not get the checkpoint, as you just mentioned. MVP Infinity going to try to control this choke point. Why Not does have the self-destruct. There's a minute 15 on the clock. Hoon nowhere near his Graviton Surge. That's what he wants to engage. Looks like they might try to use Blizzard on the attack here. Coming from the side is Libero. He's going to try to sneak this one in. Gets denied, though. Won't be able to get where he wants to be position-wise. He's going to go in aggressively. Going to just pop it down right in the middle of the fight with an Ice Wall.
It's going to be that self-destruct coming out. Not going to catch anybody. J2 does take out Breck so far, the only one going down in this fight. Fywin immediately getting hit by that flashbang as he comes out of the raid form. He will go down. That's going to be several kills picked up from Meta on Infinity. Make that the team kill. Breck able to respawn right at the end, but that will definitely give them that second cap. And now 2 minutes on the clock. Meta, they have 2 ultimates available. They need to keep this payload rolling. Don't quite have to get the third and final point, but they need to push it almost all the way there.
Yeah, 59.47 is the magic number here. Hoon so close to that Graviton Surge. Saya player going to try to pair it here. Hoon's very low. He's lost all of his shields. He does drop that Graviton Surge, but it's not the follow-up they wanted. In fact, here's one back, dropping it 1 second later. Good Reinhardt shield positioning, though, and it's not going to be what MVP Infinity wants. This fight turns on its head again as the meta gets multiple kills. Libero, again, really ruling out with the space, showing us such an incredible main, more than we really ever saw on Monday, and I'm quite impressed.
I mean, they get this big pick onto Chris, leaving nothing but NUS. They get a massive Earth Shatter from Breck, but there's no one to follow up on it. And now, with 2 members dead, 1 respawning, a Blizzard on the ground, or the meta rather, they're just gonna go ahead, shove this in, and they will take the second map, now up 2-0 over MVP Infinity. It's game point. If they can close this out, they will lock themselves into Apex Season 2.
Libero just really good May play. at the start of the map, Boone was on point on defense. He had amazing graviton surges. His positioning allowed him to have near full energy non-stop. But it was really Libero there that turned the tides in most of those battles, getting multiple kills. Remember, there's this one battle, I don't know if you caught it, where he got a melee kill and then just turned and right-clicked somebody. I was thinking to myself, he just knows everything that's going on. He sees things he can't even see coming. His team's calling it out. He's getting these picks. Very impressive. Before we go into our third and what could be final match of the evening, we are going to take a short commercial break. We'll see you guys in just a few. Meta fans have flooded the studio this evening, and for good reason. Meta, one of the most famous challenger teams, if not the most famous challenger team in Korea, and they're up 2-0 in this series, barring a few pauses and technical issues on the side of Saya player's mouse. They have been on point, they have been on fire. The second map was definitely a lot closer than the first, but now we're going into our 2-point capture, and we'll see if they can close it out 3-0 and join Runaway. These two teams winning the winners match 3-0 and advancing directly into Apex Season 2.
Yeah, it's certainly looking that way, and this puts MVP, not Infinity, but MVP as an organization in a very interesting place, because if Infinity loses here, granted, they do have another shot, but there's a realistic world where MVP Space and Infinity, neither team is in Apex, which means MVP, what do they want to do? They want to maintain these squads, combine them, or just drop Space, which you would have to think would be the most logical one if they were going to drop a team, and then play through Challenger. There's a lot of implications here for the future of these two teams and these players if Infinity loses right here.
Definitely so. Let's take a look at what 2-point capture map we are going to see. This will again be Infinity's map choice. I was pretty critical of their King's Row choice. It's going to be between Anubis and Hanamura, and we will see Anubis again.
And that's not really shocking. Hanamura not going to be the most popular of our 2-point capture maps. We've seen much more Temple of Anubis, though we have seen Hanamura twice. To be fair, it does pop up every now and then, but at the same time, that's where we saw that Torbjorn come out from space, which was a bit interesting. So
Yeah.
Anubis is going to be the more obvious one. We could see Saya on attack come back out with the Widowmaker. Didn't have much success on King's Row, so I don't know how he's going to be feeling about that. But Anubis is a map that has a lot of high ground for him to utilize, and it's pretty open on the point itself, whereas if you're going to flank around the right-hand side of King's Row, you have the statue in your way that can people can hide behind, they can go behind the hotel, so I think that Anubis might be a little bit better for him if he wants to approach with Widow on attack.
Would have to agree with you wholeheartedly there. There's a high chance we see him play McCree as well. He's really been favoring that tonight over the Soldier, with the exception of Ilios, where he was just left alone on the high ground with that one D.Va to stop him. But guys, this could be it. If Meta takes Temple of Anubis, they will advance 3-0 into Apex Season 2. We'll see if Infinity can bring a stop to them on this third map.
Oh, we barely got it right at the end.
Barely got it. That was a close call. I was like, whoa, is that going to be it? I mean, we don't get this, and it's 3-0. We're just going to go home without getting it here at the end?
Yeah, you definitely have to get it.
You have to get it.
That should be the biggest priority outside of winning.
When we saw a pause earlier on in Apex right at the beginning of a match, I thought immediately one of the players paused because we didn't get it, and he needed to restart the game.
Yeah, I would be pissed as well. I'd say, you know what, we need a redo on the load-in. Let's just roll it back. Act like that was a rehearsal. Okay, let's look. Oh, here we go. Now we got it.
We got it. Well, since we got it here, no need for such formalities. Bywin looks to potentially change off the Soldier here. As we set up on this first point, it will be Infinity on the attack first.
Is he gonna
As
swap
such,
or
Saya's
stick?
going to stay on Soldier. Bywin will stay, actually. Looks like he went back to the swap, but as he's on attack, he doesn't really need to go back anywhere. Just want to stay at the end. It's going to already start working on this Reinhardt shield. And one fact, going to actually commit to the Roadhog this time, not the Zarya, whereas Hoon, no surprise, he's sticking with it, as they do control this hallway for the time being.
Yeah, which means that Meta won't be able to grab anybody, bring them onto that high ground, and pick them off. Saya, He's playing off on the side, right of the point, almost gets flash, can't finish him off. And now with Why Not up in his face, that could very well just be a kill coming through.
Looks like NUS kept him alive, which is actually what's really key. You need your Ana player to actually be on point when the D.Va comes in onto the Soldier. We saw it yesterday quite a bit. Libero is going to lose that bot. And Saya will finally go down. It took him a long time, but this is actually a strong push here for Infinity. They actually have Earth Shatter available. They could actually commit to it. And the meta is just going to leave this point B. What a fast cap. Good start here for MVP Infinity.
Yeah, really strong push there. I mean, it was a slow pace as far as how they went in. They didn't just, kind of bum rush the point, but it was a slow progression. And overall, it gives them a really big time bank, almost 7 minutes for them to utilize to try to get this second cap. So now the meta are going to have to change things up. We see Libero coming onto that Mei now as he swaps through.
Yeah, and Bywin going to switch to Reaper again. Going to look for some of those big picks. One fact, losing his ability to self-heal. Sound Barrier gets popped here. Libero, will he win this 1v1? He doesn't have Ice Block as far as I know. Would have definitely used it if he did. Oh, the reload comes out for Bywin. Libero gets away, which is huge. Bywin gets sniped by Libero as well before he can get the health pack. That's a nice pick there. Sound Barrier totally wasted, I guess you could say, really, for Infinity. So much opportunity there, but got outplayed by the meta. Had that kill on Libero happen, we might have been able to see a lot more meter charge for Bywin as well. One shot away, so low on health.
Yeah, and I mean, we saw that this Reaper could be something very important in our first match of the day. So, I mean, I'm glad that we're not just locked into the Soldiers, into the Tracers. We are seeing people go back to this Reaper play. Big Earth Shatter coming through. NUS going to pick up the kill onto Why Not as Bywin goes down. Really strong hold from the meta, and they're still going to have 3 ultimates in their back pocket to utilize on that next push as well, just to the one of MVP Infinity. Breck, the only one that's going to have that Earth Shatter available on his side of the team.
Going to buy a lot of time there with that pick on the Laris as well, because that stagger spawn is going to mean that she will not be there, Ana that is, when the fight commences right away, so they're going to have to kind of wait up for a moment. Breck, the only one with the ult, as you just mentioned. Bywin still a long ways away, and he's kind of been make or break in some of these games when he's on that Reaper. And it's interesting that he's the one to play it, actually, instead of One Fact, because Bywin's normally ranged. We're going to see a nano boost come down here onto Hoon. He doesn't have a lot of energy, but he still gets 1 kill already on the flash with help of NUS. And One Fact here going to be caught alone. Libero does have a Blizzard. I don't think he's going to need it, though, as Infinity is pushed away. The mech of Why Not taken out as well.
And you're going to be perfectly happy with that, denying him the mech, because,
yeah,
I mean, getting the kill is fine, but now he's going to have to wait and build up, and MVP, they won't be able to push in without Why Not in that mech, and without him being able to get any damage, he's going to just run back to the point and swap out for the Winston, because he and then swap back in. So they wasted a lot of time by having Why Not have to run all the way back to the spawn.
Yeah, that's a big tip, guys at home. If you kill a Mei's mech like that, if they don't have a strong push, just leave her be, because if she's back there with the rest of her team, you don't want them to get that free reset. You want them to have to run back. This is going to be a tough push to actually make work. Blizzard going to be committed in immediately. Why Not tries to escape a huge wall. Oh my god. And J2 was able to just roll with it, run in. He does get Earth Shatter, though. A nice counter engage here from Infinity.
Yeah, the wall was looking really strong at the start, but it actually didn't get as much profit as I expected. And that's going to be MVP firing back. They were able to pick off 3 members of the meta. Chris goes down as well. And now they get that first checkpoint here. And that's going to help them out. Graviton Surge comes through, and big Flame Strike, but the Earth Shatter's blocked by the shield from Breck. So Meta not going to be able to stop them out and find that ace. They are able to pop the mech out from Why Not yet again, trying to chase him down, trying to get on top of Laris, freezing him up as Libero comes in with a headshot, but the rest of the team has been struggling.
Actually, that's the time you want to kill the Divas, who's about to kill your Mei player there. Earth Shatter comes in again. Libero using this ice wall and the ice block in the middle to try to deny this cap. Earth Shatter not available here for J2, but he's got the nano boost and he gets a lot of damage. Nice isolation there attempt on Reinhardt. In fact, will actually escape there, but Breck nearly going down, has to retreat. A solid hold here for the meta. things started off rough, but Libero again on this May, just buying so much time.
Yeah, buying so much time and also getting another Blizzard up for himself, so he will have that ultimate available on the next push. This time, maybe we'll be able to line things up, because MVP, it was a beautiful wall to try to keep them contained inside, but they were able to slip out of the Blizzard before they all got locked up. So it was nice reactions from them, but this just gives Libero another chance.
Let's see when he decides to use this wall. Looks like he's going to play greedy. Wants to try to isolate somebody here. Again, it's going to be Breck, who stands at the front. They're going to try to come through. 3 actually get through, and Diva flies right over. Libero going to get the pick onto Breck immediately regardless. Big Blizzard here. Double kill coming down, and Infinity tried to break through there, but it was in vain. Perhaps should have waited for the ice wall to go down.
Yeah,
Problem with that is you lose
5.
3, you know? If you don't commit, you lose 3. Your push is over anyways. You commit, then your spawns get staggered worse anyways, and it's just really tough to try to all in all 6 through that hallway. Why not split 3 and 3? Then if you get 1 or 2 through the hallway, then you get the rest on the middle hallway here. They're all standing on right now. If you send all 6, you all in one side. You're giving so much more potential to that ice wall.
Yeah. And I mean, I'm kind of surprised that they killed Why Not. Thought that they would leave him in Baby Diva yet again and just have him, be forced to run back and swap, because it would deny whatever meter he had built up towards his ultimate. As we can see, he does now have it, but instead they decided to kill him just to get the staggered recall. So I think that might have been the wrong play, but either way, it's working out for the meta. J2 will get picked over. It's going to be a 2-for-2. Big sound barrier coming down. Saya player pushing forward fearlessly. Big flashbang. Getting a lot of profit on that as he locks up 2 members of MVP and takes out one fact.
And Saya got the kill early on Fiowin as well to allow all of this to happen. A huge flashbang to follow it up. He had Deadeye, and he could have actually used it with all the CC he's had there, but he knew he didn't need to. Might as well just save it. Gonna ban the hammer here to work on this Ryan shield. Ice blocks and actually isolate Breck temporarily, but he will be able to back off. And 30 seconds left here on the clock for MVP Infinity. Try to make this work. Well, nano boost on the Rhine, but heal's denied. And this is a big, big problem, as this is a nearly full wipe with Laris the only surviving member of MVP Infinity. 12 seconds to go here. They need a mobile hero to slow this down.
There's no way.
Flash is already dead. I think that's just it.
Yeah, there's no one nearby to
Not
try to
even
come in for
close.
this one. The jump already is out from Breck. He can't make it in. That's just going to be it. Going over to meta. They will hold that second point, run down the clock, and now all they need is a double cap, and they will knock MVP Infinity into another best of 5.
That's right. Worst case scenario is the meta. They get 1 cap. Worst case scenario is they have that tie, and we go to Sanctum on the ball. This is not looking good for MVP Infinity. They looked so solid yesterday. Coordination was there. This is what I was worried about, though, is what happens when the communication breaks down, what happens when they're down in a series. I really have to be critical of their 6-man through the hallway. You go through the hallway with all 6, you're literally countered by 1 ability.
Yeah.
You're sitting with your tail between your legs. If 3 get caught and you try to fly Diva over the wall, then you're still 4v6ing. And it feels like it's much more profitable to approach from 2 sides. But we'll see what the meta can get done here. 4 minutes on the clock to get that first capture. And it looks like Infinity, they're running almost the identical comp. One fact switching back to the Roadhog. And Fiowin on the Mei actually early on. We saw him with a little bit of a Genji play and Reaper on attack, but running Mei a bit early here. I can only see Mei on this first point.
So this tells me that they're probably going to try to get a pick over on the right-hand side, because the meta is likely going to look to wrap around, go through the left channel as they enter into towards the point. So likely use that wall as they come in, pop it up, isolate somebody, pick them off, and then that's going to draw or push the meta back. Yet again, I'm not really sure.
Oh, he's
What?
on a T.
Well, we're not really sure what meta's going to be going for here. Looks like it might be a Pharah. They still... No, I think he's going to...
Well, we saw Libero play a lot of Pharah on Monday. We'll see if that actually is what he's going to roll with. At least it will be for the time being without the Mercy, so no Pharmacy. Just a lot of damage, just what I do in solo queue.
I mean, they're going to be going for a triple DPS comp here without the Ana. So This means that Chris has to be on top of everybody to heal them, or at least in the same area. Saya coming around the flank, going to be looking for a pick onto Laris.
This is almost the same comp. In fact, I think it is the same comp we saw Mighty AOD run on Hollywood on the extra round. Just yesterday, it failed really hard, but this time it looks like it's working out a lot better. Libero, they're looking to heal. Biotic Grenade going to just barely keep everyone healed up there for Infinity. A close call there, but nicely done by Laris to get in there at the last second to get those heals off. Bywin still on the Mei. One fact, not able to get a pick just yet, but this push doesn't have a lot of longevity to it with it because of everyone's health being so low. With the solo Lucio, he's trying to keep everybody healed up, but they're not getting kills early on. What they need, or they needed Libero to slowly get enough chip damage to where the dive comes in and finishes everybody off. Okay, here it's going to start. Flash goes down already.
Yeah, that's going to be a good pickup. NUS going to go into the back right now. She's trying to work down this Diva mech. Will come in behind her. They pop it, and she's going to go down very swiftly as Saya finishes her off. Then a boost onto Breck. Not going to get a whole lot done. Is able to finish off J2, but he gets taken out. Good hook, however, from one back. Takes out Libero. Goes straight into the whole hog, but gets burned out immediately, and that's going to be the first point captured by the meta. Very swiftly done. Pretty much exactly what we saw from MVP as far as the time goes. Maybe just about 20 seconds slower.
Yeah, and I like that One Fact decides to swap over the Zarya now, especially with that whole hog usage there. Definitely was never going to help out. Libero still has this Rocket Barrage. We may see him swap off, in fact, after this as well. Gonna look for one good angle here coming from the backside. Does have his teammates in position to help protect. This could be it.
Yeah, he's coming up over the top. He's gonna go ahead, drop it, finds Bywin. Immediately the sound barrier comes out. That's gonna protect MVP Infinity for a little bit longer. But a second kill is picked up on the One Fact. Now Flash down. Laris the only healer available, and he falls. This could be a cap coming through for the meta already. They pop the mech. Why Not goes down. They're gonna get a lot of time on this.
Okay, this is going to be the last chance they have. Bywin does have Blizzard. He's going to try to get into position right now, coming over on top of this wall. The self-destruct catches him, though. Huge mistake by MVP Infinity. He still gets the Blizzard off here, though. But I don't think it's going to matter. Breck and Why Not the last surviving here. They will be cleaned up very quickly. Why Not already losing his mag, dropping that self-destruct. Everyone dodges it. They get right back on the point, buying them just a few more seconds. Why Not will go down here. Yeah,
they need just a second. They need just 1 second. Bywin goes in, has the ice block, but Saya Blair lines up that pulse bomb, takes him out. Now it's really just going to be on Flash, who's dashing around the walls, trying to buy some more time, but he gets taken out by Libero. But somehow, MVP, they still have held on to this point.
Well, Primal Rage comes out here now. This is going to be the really tough part with all that CC against him. Bywin solo, he goes down. And that should very well be it. Flash, though, back on the pillar, but he steps off by mistake, and that will be the cap. And the meta will take it with a 3-0. Flash tries for his Lucio play on the team, plays no other heroes, will make a small mistake there, and that will be the capture. There you have it, 3-0. The meta, the big fan favorite from Challenger, goes up to Apex.
And I'm so surprised that they were able to make this composition work. It was so dive heavy, triple DPS with a Lucio healer. You have so many characters whose job is basically sprint as far away into the back line of the enemy as possible, which makes it incredibly difficult to receive healing. You basically have to come back to Chris to get healed up by the Lucio, which is going to be a bit slower. So I was really surprised to see NUS swapping off of the Ana, which he has been spamming this entire time, to go for Genji. Not a similar pick in Hero whatsoever, but they're able to make it work without the Ana present. Beautiful performance from the meta, and they completely stomp out MVP Infinity. And as you said, they move on. They are our second team into Apex.
2 more will be determined on Friday. I don't want to go as far as to say that Libero is as good as Recry, but both today and Monday, he got a lot of value out of the hero. And at the very end there, we had the camera on him. He had that one really nice rocket barrage. Then after that, isolated Flash. Immediately identifies Flash as the one that's keeping this point from being captured. Picks him off once, knocks him off twice. And then the third time he comes back, he just can't hold on. And that is a hold, or rather a full capture there. Early on with, what, 4.5 minutes to spare. Very one-sided series, not what I expected. I really thought that Infinity would be the team to take it here, but boy was I wrong. And it was so one-sided. Kings Row having a few tight moments, but overall, this team is just incredible. Saya player, his accuracy